Lenny's going to share her screen, and actually Lenny's going to be doing most of the presentation today. I'll just be helping in the background a little bit. But I do want to thank the Department of Veterans Affairs. They actually paid for and developed with the assistance of Spay Wars and the team at Spay Wars SEPS 3, and we're very happy with the product we got, and we're glad to do a demonstration today to show you SEPS 3. Lenny, it's all yours.
Okay. Hi, everybody. We've got a lot of information to cover, so we'll just jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and log in so that you can see the process for logging in. I've actually got a favorites link set up here. You can do the same once you get into the system, but in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and just key in the website address. And it's immediately going to take me to the max.gov login page. As Russ mentioned, you've got two methods for logging in if you're a government employee that has either a CAC or a PIV card. If you're not a government employee, you'll have to use the user ID password, but you have some options. I'm going to go ahead and log in with my CAC card. Enter my PIN. And the first screen that you're going to see is a DoD warning, just as you had in SEPS 2. And to advance into the system, just click on the I agree button. And the first screen that appears within the application is what we call your home screen, or the dashboard. And the dashboard is a screen that we've provided to give you information and to exchange information with us. So there's some sort of a mixture from what we had on the SEPS 2 website as far as announcements and training and that sort of information. But we also have an interactive module that allows you to communicate with the support team to handle any issues that you have or requests that you have for the system. So I'd like to talk about this a little bit with you. Anytime you want to get back to that screen, when you're further deep into the system, you can click on Tools and choose Dashboard. It'll bring you right back to this page. Throughout the SEPS 3 application, you'll see that we've continued to maintain the formatting that we've used previously in SEPS 2, where you have a tree on the left-hand side with detailed information on the right-hand side based on what you have selected on the left-hand side. So the Home option is going to give you the summary information for all the topics following Home. So we've got announcements, events, training, support requests, and change requests. To actually look at all of the individual items within each one of those topics, you can either click on one of the topics on the left-hand side, like announcements, and it'll take you into the announcements and show you the announcements that are active for you to look at. If you want to actually go into an individual item, you can do that by clicking on the title or the hyperlink for the actual announcement. In this particular example, it's the same information that's displayed in the summary, but if it had more information for you, you would actually see additional description information below this. So I'm going to click on Cancel Close. And again, as I mentioned, if we go back to the home screen, it's going to redisplay all the summary information. The second topic is events. If we had some major event that we wanted you to know about that you could possibly participate in, they would be listed under upcoming events. We have upcoming training, and these are all the training sessions that we currently have scheduled. This first one here, obviously, is today's presentation. This second one is the first SEPS 3 new user training that is scheduled for the end of July. I'm going to go ahead and click on View All so we can actually look at the training that's on the calendar. These two, there are typically three. If there are 3 active items, they would be displayed on the summary screen. When you click on View All, you can actually drill into more items that may be available. You'll notice up in this upper right-hand corner that you've also got this checkbox that says Include Past Training. So anything that might be older than current day or has already in the past, if you want to look at previous items, you can actually click on the checkbox, Include Past Training, and it will show you all the different training sessions. I will tell you that we're currently in the process of updating a lot of these training lists. So as you're looking at if you go in and you look at some of these training sessions, don't panic if you were in a training session and you don't see yourself registered necessarily. We're in the process of making sure those are all updated. But just to give you an idea of what a training session would look like, I'm going to go ahead and remove the past training and come back in here. I'm going to click on this SEPS 3.0 orientation, which is today. And when you go into a training session, you actually can see more information about that session. If it were a face-to-face session, you would actually see the location in which it was held or will be held. This one obviously is an online session. The dates, the beginning and ending dates and beginning and ending times. The students right now is arbitrary for the online session. Anybody that registered for it or knew about this, obviously this is new to everybody, but some folks knew about it ahead of time. If you come over here to registered users, and Russ is the person that registered for it, you can actually go out and click that you would like to participate in the training session. I'll come back to details. We've got a description section that will tell you what the training will include and any comments that we feel are important for you relating to the session itself. So you have the ability to actually see any training sessions that might be coming up in the future and one that you might be interested in. I'm going to come back over here to the next topic, which is support requests. And this topic is actually going to be one that will be really, really helpful not only to you but to us as the support staff as well. It's going to give us an automated method for us to be able to actually help you in the field. If you run into any issues relating to using the system, if you get an error message, if you don't know how to do something, can't find what you want to do in the system, any of those types of things, you would actually submit a support request. And the way you can do that is twofold. You can do it in two different ways. You can either come to the dashboard, click on support request, and then click on this add button, submit a support request. But any time that you're in the system, you can also go up to help and click on submit a support request, and it will actually pop up an add screen that will allow you to create a support request. So as you can see, I've got one support request that I submitted. It was submitted by me today at 10:48. When you submit a support request, the SPAWAR support team is immediately notified that a question or a support request has actually been placed. And when we receive that email, we know to come in to the support request module and take a look at your issue and respond to it. So I'm going to show you what an existing one looks like. So if I actually click on the title for that request, you'll see that it was created by me, and here's my email and phone number so that we, from the support side, have an easy way to get to you. When it comes into the system and is created, the status is always set to new, which means it's not been looked at yet or responded to yet. But when we actually look at, are notified about a support request and we look at it, we assign a support technician to your request so that you have somebody to directly talk to about whatever it is that if you want to add additional information, or if we need additional information from you, we can talk directly to you. You can talk directly to us. And the way you do that is by using this section of the screen over here on the right, you can actually send messages to the tech that was assigned to your request. That tech will then turn around and respond back to you using the same method. So in this particular example, I submitted this request this morning and I said, gee, I can't remember how to run a PFD report. Can you please help me? So my colleague Sean responded to me and he said, project reports are called from the Project Builder toolbar. I have uploaded a screenshot for you to take a look at. Please let us know if this resolves your issue. If so, you may close the ticket. If not, please let us know if you need additional assistance. So what he did to help me understand how to run a report is he created a screenshot to show me where the icon is, and he uploaded it directly to my support request. And you're all any document, whether it's a screenshot, an image, a Word doc, whatever kind of information you want to provide to us, you can upload, or the technician can upload for you to see, and so it becomes a nice communication tool for sharing information relating to the issue that you've asked about. So if I go ahead and click on this link, Project Reports icon, it'll ask me down here if I want to open or save it. I'd like to open it, so I'll click on the Open button. And when it opens, it's showing the screenshot that Sean provided to me with an indicator of where the reports icon is for me to run my PFD reports. So if I come back here, I'm going to go ahead and close the item that was uploaded, and I'm going to respond to Sean and say, thanks, that was exactly what I needed. And when I click on Send Message, this message went directly to Sean, since he was the technician that was assigned to my request. And because I feel that it's a closed issue and he's waiting for a response from me, I can physically close my own tickets. If I feel like my issue has been resolved, I can come over here and close the ticket, and that will be recorded as closed by me, the person that actually submitted the request. The support technician can also close a ticket, but we're not going to close tickets unless you say that the issue is resolved. So it's probably one of the suggestions that I would like to make from the technical perspective is that as you come into the system each day, however often it is that you use the system, the first thing that would be really helpful to us to do is to come out and review your support requests that you've got in the system and see if you've gotten some communication back from the technician that was assigned to your request, because potentially we might be asking you to either provide additional information, or we may be saying, we got the message, it was a quick fix, it's already ready, can you please tell us if it's resolved, and if it's resolved, please close the ticket. So at that point, if you go in, you test, everything looks good to you, that the issue is now no longer a problem, you can come in here and close the ticket, and then you won't see that on your screen anymore. Remember though, I'm going to go ahead and cancel here, if you do close a ticket, and actually I meant to show you how that works, let me click back in here. I'm going to go ahead and close the ticket because I feel like Sean has told me exactly what I need. I'll say, yes, I do want to close the ticket. The status is changed now to close, and a marker is put in the audit stating that the ticket was closed by me, the user. I will cancel and close this, and notice that the support request disappears from the screen. So your screen isn't cluttered up with closed items, but again, you can always go back and look at it again if you have some need to look at it historically. You can click on the Show Closed Support Requests, and you can see your support request that was closed, and just click on it again to pull it up and be able to read the communication string that took care of the request from the beginning to the end. So I'll go ahead and click on Cancel Close. The last topic within the dashboard is change requests, and I'll go ahead and click on that. Now, change requests are a little different from support requests. Support requests are for when you need help with something. You're working in some area, you get an error message, or you can't find something, or something happened that you expected the result to be different, and you need some assistance in trying to figure out why it did one thing versus the other. Those are things that we can take care of and communicate back and forth about with you. A change request is when you actually feel that a change is needed to the system, whether it's an improvement, whether it's a new report, whether you'd like to have the screen display differently, or you feel like some information is missing and it really needs to be included. Those are the types of things that we consider change requests. And change requests are handled a bit differently from a support request. So I'm just going to click on the plus just to show you what a change request add form would be. And in essence, all that we're asking for is a quick summary of what the change that you're asking for is. And then down in this details section, and I guess this would really apply to the support request as well, as much information as you can provide to us would be greatly appreciated, and it will help us be able to immediately jump right into either the support issue or your actual suggestion via the change request topic. And not to say that we won't contact you for more information, but if we can make some decisions on what status to apply to a change request right up front, that would be super helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel close. And I'd like to go ahead and just pull up an existing one. We will come over here. I'm going to pull up one of the first ones that was added to the system. And this was submitted by one user. And this is a summary, Program for Design Report Layout, and this is her details that she mentioned that she would like to use to support the change request itself. And when a change request is submitted, it immediately gets a status of awaiting SEPS review. What awaiting SEPS review means is that the support team is actually going to look at that change request and determine what the impact of making that change to the system is. If it's some quick, easy change that is an obvious improvement with little impact to anybody else, maybe a quick bug fix, maybe there was a funny color on a label and it needs a quick update, we can certainly go in there and we'll immediately change the status to approved. And what that means, it allows us in the next update rotation to quickly take care of that and push it out as soon as possible. Something that doesn't take a ton of effort. It's very simple changes. If we determine that the change that's being requested is something that will take considerable development effort and has a big impact on other users, then again we'll have to change the status to something different, which we consider what we call the configuration board, control configuration board review. And it's a group that will actually have the ability to take a look at the requests that are submitted and make the determination whether the request is something that would be an improvement for the entire system and the entire user base as a whole, and determine whether it should or shouldn't be implemented, and where it falls within the priority list of any outstanding change items that have been requested, and determine the impact funding-wise and that sort of thing. So it will go, anything that does take considerable effort and have an impact on others will go before a group that will make the ultimate decision on all outstanding requests. If they approve it to move forward, then it will be moved into the development category. So you may see a status that's in development as it's actively being worked. If they disapprove the issue for whatever reason, the item may be rejected in total, or it would be put on hold, meaning it will be discussed at a later time. And all of these steps for approval or disapproval, all of those will have documenting information associated with it, so you can see why an item was either approved, rejected, what status it's in at any given time. And then if it is approved and it makes it to development, once we complete it and it's rolled out into the system, then the status will be changed to implemented. So you'll be able to actually watch the progress of any request that you make from start to finish, and see how it transgresses through the system. Notice here also you've got the thumbs up and the thumbs down voting mechanism, and that allows you are able to see other users' change requests as they're submitted, and if you really like what they've asked for, you can certainly vote on it, and it adds a vote and some support to potentially getting it in, approved for development. Or you can say, nah, I don't like that one. I'm going to go ahead and vote down. But all this information is used by the review board to make their determination. If you, it can be the person that submitted the request, or it can be any other user, you can add additional information here to support the user's submittal, or not support it, whichever you want. So this is an active, ongoing communication tool for change requests as well. So you'll be getting, you can actually come out here and see what other people that use the system think about your request and how they may feel that it can go even further with additional improvements. So don't be shy about using these. We really would like for you to make support requests and change requests something that becomes a normal routine for you to use. You're certainly welcome to send us emails. You're certainly welcome to pick up the phone and call. This does not negate you doing that, but I will say because we're required to track all requests, whether they're support or change requests, you may see that after a phone call or after an email that we have put the content of that phone call or email into a support request under your name, just so that it can be tracked that it's been addressed and handled as needed. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel close. And so we're going to move straight off of the dashboard. And remember, you can always come back here just by clicking Tools and Dashboard. But let's go ahead and jump straight into Project Builder, since that's really what everybody is mostly interested in today. If you click on Tools, the second option here is Project Builder. And I'll refresh here. Now, when you come into the Project Builder for the very first time, you're actually going to see it look like this. And that is because you don't have any projects in the tree until you actually create one or import one. So if you're brand new to the system, this is a screen that you're going to actually see. The next time you come into the system after creating or working with a project, you will always come back to the project that you were working on the last time you were in a SEPS 3 session. So you don't have to go find it the next time you come in. There are a couple changes to the look and feel of the Project Builder screen, but a lot of it is really it should be very similar. We tried to keep the formatting generally the same for you, so it's not a huge learning curve to understand how to navigate the Project Builder module. So again, you'll still see the project tree on the left-hand side, and this will be the details screen on the right-hand side. But you'll notice that on the left-hand side, you don't have any projects in here yet, and if you do have a project, you're only going to see one project at a time. You now have this option that's called the Project Selection List. And in order to actually find a project, you will click on the project drop-down, and you can scroll in the list and choose which project you want to look at. And I'll just click on this last one, VA Hospital Edition. Now understand, if you're using the Project Builder module regularly and as you get more projects created or assigned to you from somebody else, that list is going to get pretty unwieldy. It's going to grow and grow and grow with the number of projects that you are able to either read or write to. So if you want to jump directly to a project without having to scroll in this list every time, you can click on the Project Select drop-down, and your cursor is immediately put into this search block here, and you can search for a project that you have by a name. So if I wanted to find anything that has the word test in it, I can click on test, and the list will immediately filter with any projects that have the word test in the name, and it highlights where test is in the name too, so you can kind of see what it is you're filtering on. So if I wanted to continue, I could say test project, and again it filters a little bit more, and then I'm just going to go ahead and grab this first one in the list, and it shows me an existing project. For this presentation, we're going to go ahead and jump right in and add a project so we can work with a project as we go through the next couple hours. And you can add a project in several different ways. You can use the plus sign and then choose Project and click OK. I'll show you the alternative. If you right-click, you can also say New and Project, and it'll bring you to the exact same screen. So now we've got the Create Project screen. Looks very similar to SEPS 2. In this instance, we're going to go ahead and create an Army project for West Fort Hood. So I'm going to go ahead and type in the project name information. And you don't have to use your Shift key to capitalize anything. After you save, everything will, all your project name, description, and location will be converted to uppercase characters. So I'm going to jump down to description, and this will be a replacement cardiology, pulmonary. Project location, I'm going to say Fort Hood, Texas. Now project notes are optional. Right at this point, I'm not going to add any project notes. I'll show you how to update them after we've created our project. We'll come down to projected year, put in 2014. Midpoint year will be 2015. Just as in SEPS 2, you still have your two furniture types, either systems or standard. We're going to leave it as the default for systems. Same with the default construction types. We're going to go ahead and leave it as 0 not assigned. We'll show you how to actually assign construction types after the project has been created. Under primary agency, you have the choice of Army, Navy, Air Force, and VA. It's going to default to whatever agency is associated with your account, your system account. In my instance, I'm a Navy civilian, so it's going to default to Navy. For this example, we're going to use Army. And I would like to show you one thing too, and this is for those that work with VA perspective as well. If we were creating a VA project, if I choose that 1391 processor ID that DoD projects require will disappear. So we're eliminating that field that isn't important for VA projects. So I will click this back and choose Army, and you'll notice that the 1391 processor ID, which is a required field for DoD projects, is now back on the screen and enabled for you to put a processor ID in. Now, typically, you don't have one of those IDs at the point that you're creating a brand new project, but it does require an entry. So I'm going to go ahead and put a placeholder of 12345 in there. Once a processor ID is assigned to this project further down in the planning process, you can come back in and update it appropriately after the fact. So let's click on facility types. For DoD projects, you have quite a few to choose from. In this particular example, I'm going to go ahead and click on M for medical center. And then down here at the bottom, it's asking for a DoD location. If this was a VA project, it would be asking for a VA location. So let's go ahead and jump into select DoD location. And let's talk about this, this search screen a little bit, because some of the functionality of this screen is going to be very consistent across the application. And there are certain pieces that we haven't seen before as it relates to SEPS. So I want you to be able to understand how to get your information and as efficiently as you need to. So on this search screen, you have multiple fields up at the top in which you can put in a full or a partial value in order to actually filter this data list down at the bottom. Notice down here at the bottom you've got a list of numbers 1 through 10 and then ... When you see these screens, we're presenting you usually with 10, and on some screens you may get 20, but most of the time you're going to see 10 items of data presented to you at a time. And the reason for this is because this is now a web application, we want to make sure that when you're working with the system, it's moving as quickly as it possibly can. If we took the time to gather all the information and then make you go through all of it to figure out what it is that you actually need, the time that it would take to get from the server down to you and back again is going to slow you down considerably. So we've implemented what's called paging. It's giving you little chunks of information that you can work with at the time, and you can actually determine what those chunks include. And in order to do that, you're going to use a search and filtering mechanism as like we're showing you on this particular screen. In other words, we can actually filter on different pieces of information relating to the data that we're seeing. So in this particular instance, we're trying to find a DoD location. So I'm going to go ahead and type in TX for Texas in order to filter this list down to allow me to look at locations only in the state of Texas. And on any search screen, you can either click on the search button or you can press the Enter key, and that will activate the filtering mechanism to actually build the list based on the filter values that you've keyed in on the screen. So you'll notice now that we have a listing that includes the states of Texas. Our option that we want to use for this project, we were working with Fort Hood. I'm going to go ahead and click on the select hyperlink to the left of Fort Hood. And now your DoD location information is pre-populated for you. Now it's time to go grab a department to include in this project, so I'll click on Go to Step 2. And over here on the right are all the DoD departments available to add to the project. Unlike VA, with DoD, depending on the facility type that you've chosen for your project, you'll see that departments are pre-selected for you as being standard for that particular facility type. It doesn't mean that you have to add all of them. It's just doing it for you to save you an extra step if you were building something brand new. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and click on Uncheck All. And I'm going to go ahead and choose Cardiology and Pulmonary Services, since this is the project description we put in there was a replacement Cardiology and Pulmonary Services. And when you click on a department, it will highlight and put the little green check mark to the left. You can choose as many departments as you want within the screen. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and just include Cardiology, Pulmonary. And then I'm going to click on the button Create Project. And now my project has actually been created and populated in the tree as the currently selected project. So notice we've got the project with the Department of Cardiology and Pulmonary Services. And I'd like to talk a bit about the formatting of the Project Builder module right now, because it's going to be important to understand the color coding and the icon indicators on the screen to help you as you're working into the planning process. Now we're still providing what we call the GPS at the top of the screen. Basically, the top of the screen identifies what level within the project hierarchy you have selected in the tree. And the importance behind that is because whatever level you have selected in the tree determines what is shown over here on the right-hand side, what we call the details area. And if you were going to be performing a function that has a major impact to your project, like a delete, you want to know where you are within this hierarchy before you actually do something that could be detrimental to your project. So let me kind of give you a lowdown about the hierarchy of the project tree. For when you're at the project level, you'll notice that you've got a little P here. It's identifying this is the top level, project level, with a black background. Over here on the detail side of the screen, you'll notice that you've got black bars and that your project itself is the name and the description are identified at the very top. So we know that we're currently at the project level in the tree by the black bars and by the project value being in the GPS. When you jump one level down to the departments, we're identifying departments with a color of green, and the icon has a D in it for department. Your GPS now identifies a department. If you don't see that department there and you only see project, you are currently at the project level. So this indicates that we are now at the department level, and we have green bars that signify that you're working with department level data. If I come down here to the next level, which are functional areas, the functional areas are identified in gold. Again, you now have a functional area in your GPS, and you've got gold bars at the top and the bottom. And then if you go to the next level down, the last level within space, you've got your rooms. They're identified with blue. Your GPS is showing the physical room that you have selected, and blue bars at the top and the bottom. So hopefully those will help trigger for you exactly where you are in the hierarchy as you're going through and making updates to your project. When you're working with the data and you receive a pop-up message that's asking you to confirm something before saving or before deleting, depending on what level that you are in that tree, the color coding will maintain itself within those pop-up messages. So again, if you're getting ready to delete a room, it's going to pop up and say, are you sure you want to delete this room? It's going to be in blue versus black, which is project.